Good evening. MA Philosophy MPYE 002, Block number 3, Unit number 2, Bioethics. Objectives. Students will understand the ethical inquiry uses a set of concepts and skills aimed at analyzing challenging situations and making decisions about the best course of action. Distinguish ethical questions from scientific and legal questions and from questions of personal preference, custom, or habit. Apply important ethical considerations such as respect for persons, minimizing harms while maximizing benefits, and fairness in analyzing bioethical problems, and recognize that while there can usually be several answers or approaches to an ethical question, it is important to present a strong, well reasoned argument for one's position. Ethics seek to determine what a person should do or the best course of action and provides reasons why. It also helps people decide how to behave and treat one another and what kind of communities would be good to live in. Introduction. Ethics is the activity of deciding what one should do as an individual and as a member of community. Members of a democratic society must offer each other reasons so reasons that show why one way of dealing with a problem is better than another. Ethics is the activity of offering reasons to support a decision about what one should do. Bioethics is a superfield of ethics that explores ethical questions related to the life sciences. Bioethical analysis helps people make decisions about their behavior and about policy questions that governments, organizations, and communities must face when they consider how best to use new biomedical knowledge and innovations. Since the 1970s, the field of bioethics has grown considerably. While it is true that bioethics today includes medical ethics issues, its originality lies in the fact that it goes much further than the various professional codes of ethics concerned. It entails reflection on societal changes and even on global balances brought about by scientific and technological developments. To the already difficult question posed by life sciences, how far can we go? Other queries must be added concerning the relationship between ethics, science, and freedom. The word bioethics is the intersection of ethical issues and life sciences. In tandem, the investigations of biology, scientific technology, and ethical issues combine to form a new science called bioethics. For this multidisciplinary science, when Rensselaer Potter in 1971 coined the term bioethics, stating that it is biology combined with diverse humanistic knowledge, forging a science that sets a system of medical and environmental priorities for acceptable survival. Bioethics is considered useful in promoting critical thinking. It allows greater acceptability to the content through connectivity rather than standalone units. It engages the content and process of real life situations, present and future, where decisions have real consequences, seldom with risk free outcomes. Finally, it promotes a focusing framework that places the biology in the fully integrated form. Faced with new ethical challenges emerging as a result of technological developments in modern medicine, bioethics seeks way in which people in societies can work together under the provision of medical care and research. The field is supposed to provide an insight into the issue of moral community and into how society understands political authority and its appropriate exercise. Bioethics also involves social philosophy because of the basic concepts of healthcare. Concepts like health and disease are socially constructed categories. Finally, bioethics connection. Bioethics connection to social philosophy is commented by the fact that central questions in clinical medicine question concerning the allocation of resources, for instance, are those of social philosophy and ethics. Thomas Kuhn has tried to sketch a different, deeper, and richer conception of bioethics that can emerge from a historical analysis. The moral world of medicine is sketched here is one of continual debate of reformers and reactionaries, of revolutions and reactions, of progress and regress. It is a world that philosophers have played a pivotal role in shaping, and that they can shape best if they understand the historical context in which their ideas have proven influential and successful. Bioethics is a multidisciplinary field which emerged to address the normative ethical issues in medical practices, research, and policy. However, it can be stipulated that bioethics is distinct from traditional medical ethics, which was primarily concerned with the conduct of physicians. The emergence of bioethics as distinct from traditional medical ethics was due in part to medical advances and the realization of the important roles of non-physicians in the ethical choices present in medicine. The ethics of the guild was no longer adequate to address the ethical questions involved in medical practice and research. For example, industrialized and developing countries which pursue globalization and privatization of their economies can view the contemporary questions concerning managed care as one instance of controversy about the authority of healthcare resources and patient care. However, these questions arise in turn more fundamental questions about how medicine and health are understood within a society. Bioethics is a complex and potentially revealing subject for empirical investigation. Discussions of bioethics can sometimes make it seem as if there was no ethical reflection before the emergence of the field. As a social movement, bioethics developed in the mid 20th century as a critical discourse, a response to felt inhumanities in the system of healthcare and biomedical research. As a response to specific abuse, bioethics has remained practice oriented. Society expects bioethics to solve or at least uh, ameliorate visible problems, but Ch- Chalahan asserts that bioethics is less way forward and more establishmentarian, and finds that four developments were important: the opening up of one's closed profession to public scrutiny, which happened is string which happens is strikingly with medicine, a fresh burst of liberal individualism, putting autonomy at the top of the moral mountain, a brilliant array of technological developments in biomedicine, ranging from the pill and safe abortion to control the beginning of life to dialysis and organ transplant to hold of the end of life, and the renewed interest within philosophy and theology in normative ethics, pursuing to one side the positivism and cultural relativism that seemed for a time in the 1940s and 1950s to have spelled the end of ethics as a useful venture. Moral pluralism. While the emergence of medical knowledge and technology was essential for the development of bioethics, it does not by itself explain the emergence of the field. To understand other elements that contribute to the field's emergence, it is important to recall that traditional medical ethics had relied on two sources of moral guidance. One was the tradition of professional physicians ethics. The other was the teachings of the theological ethics. Furthermore, there have been extensive theological reflections on ethics and medicine in many religious traditions. In the past, there has been no shortage of ethical reflections regarding medicine. This being the case, one might ask why there was a need to develop this new area of ethical reflection that has been named bioethics. Why not rely on the various traditions of medical ethics that already existed? The claim is that traditional medical ethics is really physician ethics, and that bioethics emerged as a result of the recognition that there are other people besides physicians who are involved in medical decision making. This means that the field of bioethics emerged as a response to social dimension of medicine and healthcare. Why were these sources no longer able to guide medicine once it reached its modern scientific phase? To understand why neither of these sources is sufficient for contemporary medicine, one must take into account the phenomena of moral pluralism, according to which people not only hold different moral views on topics, but work out different moral frameworks and with different moral methodologies. As it has been mentioned, traditional medical ethics has been focused on physician ethics. The development of scientific medicine gave patients so-called choices and options concerning courses of treatments to be pursued or refused. If a physician and patient share the same moral value and way of thinking, such choices may not be all the problematic. However, when patients and physicians hold different views, the understanding of medical ethics must not be seen as reflecting the judgment of the physician alone. Determining what is in the patient's best interest cannot be done solely by the physician. The physician may speak in the medically best interest of the patient, but not necessarily the overall best interest of the patient. To make judgment concerning the patient's best interest, the patient need to be involved. Furthermore, in secular societies, there are likely to be different religious views that shape people's judgments about what is morally appropriate. That is why procedures like informed consent have come to play such a central role in both clinical and research ethics. Such procedures allow people to exercise judgments about what is in their best interest. Social dimensions. Bioethics has emerged as a result of several developments and complexity in medicine and society. Two in particular stand out. First, the development of medical knowledge and technology created choices in medical care. Second, the moral pluralism and multiculturalism in societies led to the existence of different moral voices and views. This in turn meant that there would be different views on appropriate medical care. Bioethics arose as a way to help people from different moral views navigate these choices and cooperate together. The field provides a window into the social and cultural setting of medical practices, and as such provide a way to understand a society. It can help a society or culture examine basic questions of health, disease, sickness and death. It can also enlighten the way a society thinks about moral authority and how it is exercised. There are other reasons beyond those that emerge when one considers the development of bioethics and a research field. To conceive bioethics as a form of social philosophy, one such additional reason is the nature of medicine itself. That is why physicians and healthcare workers apply scientific and medical knowledge that has been discovered in the laboratory. There is little, if any, acknowledgement that science, especially medical science, is not value free. Medical science is embedded in value of the society or culture. The scientific norms of medicine, such as health and disease, are often influenced by the societal and moral values involved in their specification. If medicine is a social construction, then bioethics should be thought of as a form of social philosophy. The term social construction has multiple meanings and should be used with caution. Philosopher Ian Hacking has pointed out that the term suffers from overuse and is incoherent. Given the ambiguity and confusion surrounding the term, one might ask what value it will have for understanding medicine. The term social construction is helpful because it recognizes that the practice and goals of medicine are contextualized and specified by the society's value. The specification of meaning of key medical concepts like health, disease, and standard of care is socially influenced by many instances. While there are universal elements in medicine such as healing and health, there are many local elements involved in specification of universals. It is in this sense that one can speak of medicine as social construction. How one can understand and practice medicine will depend largely on what one assume about the nature of medicine and the nature of knowledge. There is a common perception that medicine is applied science and that philosophy of medicine is about model of explanations. However, to think of medicine as a science or as a scientific one, one needs the articulation of the assumptions that one holds about the different model of science. Medical knowledge is scientific in that it is statistically based, empirical, verifiable, and generalized. Medical knowledge is scientific in that it is statistically based, empirical, verifiable, and generalized. A scientific model alone, however, does not capture our experience or expectations about medical practice. For such, a model does not appreciate sufficiently how medicine acts as a social structure and set of practice within a given society. The relationship between the values of a society and its medical practices can be discerned by examining how the concepts of medicine, such as the concept of disease, are specified in the society. Core and other ethical considerations: respect for persons. Respect for persons means not treating someone as a means to an end or goal. For example, even if one person's organ could help five people live, it would be an ethical violation of respect for persons to kill that one person and distribute the organs to save the five who need them. Respect for persons is also often a matter of not interfering with a person's ability to make and carry out decisions. In some cases, it is also a matter of enabling a person to make choices or supporting them in the choices they make. Respect means more than just listening to another person. It means hearing and attempting to understand what other people are trying to say. It also means not belittling or making fun of thought or feelings or perspectives that other people hold. Minimizing harms while maximizing benefits. This core ethical considerations focuses on trying to promote positive consequences by balancing harms or burdens and benefits. In doing so, one must consider which actions would do the least harm and provide the most benefit. This emphasis is central to the ethical approach known as utilitarianism. The root word in utilitarianism is utility, which refers to the positive uses, benefits or utilities that will come about as a consequence of choosing one path over another. Harms and benefits come in a variety of types, including physical, emotional, economic, and social, to name a few. Utilitarians consider all type of harms and benefits in their ethical deliberations. First of all, do no harm is a familiar expression of minimizing harms when practicing medicine. Even if physicians cannot help a patient directly, they should try to avoid actions that cause harm. Do not harm. Do no harm is sometimes referred to as non maleficence, a closely related concept. Beneficence, do good, stresses acting in the best interest of others and being of benefit to them. Let us sum up. Talking about bioethics in today's world seems an illusion, a fairy tale, or at least a matter that is drawn up from the imaginaries of the different discipline or knowledge. A theoretical and practical reality imposed every day that they should be nurtured as a discipline or set of knowledge related to life and health, but at the same time as a series of rules and ethical commitments of citizens which lead to the control and supervision of human behavior. From them, personal autonomy and human rights such as life are not injured by anyone who inhabits this planet. The concept of quality of life can never be measured to judge and compare the value of life in any way. This comparison could bring errors, ignoring the values and lies on which human life is based upon. Because of this very reason, judging and ranking the value of life becomes an utopian idea. This attempt to compare the value of life would eventually discriminate people who have lost intellectual ability, people who are considered to be useless, or people who seem to not have ability to enjoy their lives. It is pretty obvious that when people make ethical decisions guided by the utility and pleasure, or when the meaning of life cannot be found in painful situations, or consider life as meaningless and full of suffering, or people when do not contribute to society, then they would consider the ending life as justifiable. Thank you.